Okay, let me see if I can get people onto this one. Just a moment. All right, let's see if we can get this to work. I'm so sorry. Okay. Let's see, can we move everyone over? Thank you. Transferring us over. And it's horizontal now, yes. Can anyone post the link? Moment. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you all so much. Share, there we go. Get me that link. Where on earth? If anyone can post that, there we go. Okay. Okay, there's that link. All right. And let me put the chat over here. Thank you all so much. Never a dull moment. Life on Earth. Redoing the chat. Okay. Cool. Try again. Yep, everyone's here. Great. Let me put my chat. Thank you, everyone. Over. Chat. Pop out. Bam. Okay. Onto HDMI to the television screen over there. Whoop. It was just intermission. That's all it was. You know. Thank you guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, so what I was saying before, who even knows what happened, is just that Tamar is part of our Nature League, and Tamar is an illustrator and a graphic designer, and that's such an important part of the idea of conservation, because there's a lot of times when we might not actually get to experience a species or see a species or meet a species, and we still want to create that connection. And illustrations are such a wonderful way to do that. And that's actually a really cool way that kids, younger humans, learn about life on Earth are stories and picture books, right? So many of their first characters are non-human animals, which is just what a delightful thing. So graphic design and illustration is a huge part of establishing that ethos, or that ethical kind of framework for conservation, especially in the Anthropocene, in this period of time that we're in right now, where maybe, where you live, you see more humans than you do any other species. And that's a great transition to Eric Lervold, who's here as well, who does some amazing illustration too. Eric has been part of the Nature League and has just watched and been wonderfully supportive, and has done some outreach graphics and like different comic strips about species with me as well. So he and Tamar both, again, contribute to this idea of a league in such a unique way, in such an important way. And Eric, within his strips and these comics, is able to create humor and create this kind of outreach feel that is just so important. So someone else who is here If you would like to just say what you do, I would love to kind of go around and think about how we all contribute to conservation in the Anthropocene. Um, and I'll just give you guys a moment. And also, it's okay if you don't do anything. If you're in between jobs, if you just graduated. By the way, if you just graduated, congratulations. Queen Jane do the most important of work. Actually, I'm gonna ask for a Queen Jane drop off while this is happening. Yeah, so Kylie is in the chat. Kylie, what do you do, or what do you study, or what are you interested in? And I'm gonna send a message for Jane. Or there we go. Great. Insecticides, Chris. Perfect. Perfect. This is wonderful. So yeah, while people are contributing, I'll hop on these two. Finishing up for criminal justice. You guys, that's such an amazing connection as well. So again, think about the idea of a league, of a group with different abilities and perspectives, interdisciplinary work to think about the challenges ahead. That's what we need. So amazing. Also, yes, mako sharks are super rad, super fast, and awesome. But criminal justice, if we think about wildlife trafficking, if we think about, we've talked a lot about the pangolin topic, and we kind of watched that film together about trafficking in Nigeria, and how the justice system has so much to do with that, and could even then be related to our own, susceptibility to disease. So criminal justice law, even though it might not be the thing you think about first when you're like, hey, do you, are you interested in conservation or biodiversity? It's super connected, which is awesome. And David is mentioning something that his mom did. Happy Mother's Day to her. A refuge for different bird species in southeastern Arizona. Yeah, so birds are a really cool example of, probably regardless of where you live, most likely you share habitat with a bird species, even if it's just a pigeon. I know I saw a pigeon on our roof like Eve just yesterday. And that's really cool. And so the interaction with birds, and actually in the United States, there are more bird watchers than there are hunters or anglers, people who fish, and brings in a ton of money. And that money goes into conservation a lot of the times, goes into research, and bird watching, caring about and learning about those other species is a huge piece of conservation. Ned Barnett is a published writer, fiction and nonfiction, to advocate for a better world. That is awesome. Thank you, Ned, for being a part of the Nature League. So as we talked about with illustration and graphic design, writing too, again, is this way of outreach. And I love these old school environmentalists, at least within North America. I don't know as much for other countries, but within North America, I think about like Dr. Rachel Carson, and how she was a scientist, but she was also a writer, and she was an editor for journals. And scientists really used to be writers. Think about Leopold. Oh my gosh, the man's practically a prose poet and a scientist. This is the way that we continue the story. This is the way that we keep our story going as a species, and then involving others as well. Joe is just one of those dorks. Love that. You read science papers, real science, and spread that stuff to other people. Awesome. I am also a total dork that likes to be living on a planet with other creatures. I think even just being someone that learns and then shares that knowledge is a beautiful piece of the league. I dig it. Yep. And David actually does teaching with tech stuff. Unrelated, it's totally not related. I love the idea of environmental impact in tech. Right. How do we keep, because so many of those materials in tech, if someone has an old laptop and they want to get rid of it, how can that be sustainable? How can that be reusable? I think that's brilliant. That's really, really cool. Oh yes, Chris is mentioning a robin. Yes, The last time I watched robins have a nest, I named them Rob and Robin. It was ROBB and ROBYN, Robin Robin, the pair that had the nest. It's just very dumb. Librarian Brat is great. I've asked for a Jane drop off. Here she goes. Thank you. Zachary's a physics student. That's so awesome. Oh yes. Loves octopuses, loves kitties. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, awesome. I love that. I love that someone who studies physics, which we think of as like on the opposite end of that biology spectrum, still loves life on Earth, right? And enjoys living systems because they're all connected. Some of the most incredible physics we see is within body plans, that have evolved over, tens of thousands of years to millions of years. And Tamara's mentioning that her mom is an architect. Architecture and building and design comes into play. Wildlife corridors, so bridges for habitat fragmentation and all that kind of construction. Hide baby girl, you better come here. Is a huge piece of conservation planning right now, especially with habitat fragmentation being such a big deal. Come here. Yeah, you're gonna come here. You're gonna come here. Oria, start studying for BA in biology soon. That's awesome. Love it. Yes, Laura Kelm is incredible with microbiology and conservation genetics, and is absolutely on a path, I think, to learn so much more about all of these things. Hi. Oh, playing hard to get. Oh, I'll make kissy sounds all day. Bring it. You bring it. Oh, she bad. Joey's saying that physics is applied math, chemistry is applied physics, biology is applied chemistry. Oh, totally. All living systems. It's so, so true. Well, it all comes down to energy, right? And the way that energy moves throughout systems. Totally. So, Oria, I wonder if that means that you graduated recently. Congratulations. Congratulations, all that. Hey, you want to stop being a punk? The people need their queen. Nope, she's investigating a humidifier instead. Oh, there we are. Tamara mentioned her mom. My mom is both an educator and has her background in developmental psychology. And I love the way that applies to conservation because psychology and the way that human minds work is such a big piece of how we learn about the world around us, especially developmentally with younger kids, and the way that that connection to other species and that empathy is established early on is a major piece of that conservation puzzle, certainly. That's great, Eric. I love that. Oh, hey, no worries, Arya. I think that time in the middle can be wonderfully spent. Hey, I'm just gonna come get you. I'm just gonna come get you, and that's just what's gonna happen. Hi. Oh, what? Now you want to? Now you want to? Now you want to? Oh, yeah, it's just kitty time. Here you go. Yeah, you demowed. I know, dat meow. It wasn't a protest meow. It was, I started walking toward her and she gave me the yes. The yes meow. Hi. Yeah, the hangler fish definitely does throw her off. And the fact that this is closed because she loves having that window, but the backlighting really messes it up. Awesome, Laura, you got it. Grad school will happen. There's not a rush. There's a million different ways to learn about things. You will get there. I am not worried. Yeah, she explorins. She explorins. That's so cool. So I know that we also kind of live in a bunch of different places. If you guys want to in the chat, mention some of your favorite species that you might share habitat with in your town or city or state or country that are unique or maybe remind you of home. While sweet baby Jane explores the living room. Oh yes, absolutely, Joe. I agree. Horses are home for me. That's so interesting, Tamar, because out here in Montana, like being from Florida, horses are so much more common out here. Although there were people who had ranches in Florida, it was just a more rare thing where I was. Wow, that's so neat. And so Tamar, was that in Israel? David's mentioning a specific kind of bird. Yep, like I was saying, birds are such a connection, as we just have them distributed so many places, and they can have such specific habitats. Yeah, so horses in Israel. Interesting, interesting. My mom's like, not to be a basic bitch, but I love my backyard squirrels. Mom, I love the squirrels too. I love the difference between squirrels in Florida and Montana too. I love that. Chris is saying pretty herons and hawks, awesome, and bald eagles. That's super cool. Oh, Oreo's in Israel as well. Wild boars are wandering around lately. That is wild. In Berlin. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, that's wild. Corvids anywhere. Well, sure, yeah. We can dig crows and ravens certainly. Um oh, that's really neat. What kind of in Israel, what kind of I don't know, since people are mentioning birds and mammals, what kind of birds are kind of specific to Israel? If anyone has it, while Zachary is saying Northern Ontario. Deer, that is very fair. There's an ongoing dispute in my household about mule deer versus white-tailed deer. Ants, yep. Oh, squirrels are just awesome. Joe, are there like specific ants you're thinking about? I mean, I agree. Like ants are incredible, but as far as where you live, yeah, Zachary. As far as deer here in Montana, it's like there's literally just town deer. They basically understand like stoplights. I'm almost positive they'll wait for you. They're like, no, you go. I'm not a pedestrian technically. It's fine. I read the handbook. It's awesome. It definitely surprised me in my first couple of years here. David's mentioning Palo Alto. Black squirrels. Right, right. Like there's so many different kinds of squirrels, which is weird. Oh, absolutely. If I lived anywhere near Seattle, I would think about those orcas as well. Hupos is the national bird in Israel. Hupos. I don't know anything about those. I'm probably saying it incorrectly as well, but oh my gosh, I just looked them up. They're beautiful, Tamar. That's so interesting. Whoa, those look incredible. They've got the crown. Interesting. You guys should totally check these birds out if you haven't. And Ned's mentioning oh, roadrunners and coyotes. See, I've never seen that part of the United States. The South and the East Coast, absolutely. Now the Pacific Northwest, but I've never seen the Southwest. That's a part of the country I live in that I've never seen. Roadrunners and coyotes are absolute cartoon for me, so that's wild. Yes, Claudia, welcome. We're talking about yeah, other species where we share our habitat with that kind of remind us of our home. Chris, pure white squirrels, pics or it didn't happen. Gotta see it. Yeah, these hupos I've never seen. Fabulous. Very punk rock for a bird. Yeah, I totally agree. It looks so awesome. And why is it the national bird of Israel? Ah, the royal status of the crest. Interesting. Following a national survey. Ah. And then Joe is mentioning about invasive fire ants, right? Right. Yeah. I mean, there's going to be definite spreads and differences in I mean, honestly, it's like habitat expansion. Claudia's mentioning fire salamanders. Oh my gosh, yes. Skater girl pretty. Oh man. Salamanders, when you think of the United States, you don't really think of like amphibian biodiversity, but the largest diversity of salamanders on Earth is in the Appalachian Mountains, which is in the eastern part of the United States. Claudia, I'm not sure if that's where you live, or if you're somewhere else, but salamanders are a great one. That is wonderful. Yeah, yeah, Ned, I can imagine. And I think Eric has a really good point. I do think that bird is a Pokemon. Not a bad point. So cool. You guys, I'm learning about so many new species and things. Isn't it cool how like our even living in, maybe you live in a really big city or a place where there's a lot of human impact and a lot of human influence, but even then there's still these non-humans that like still make it feel like home. I love that. I think it's so cool. Um, all right, so thank you everyone for jumping streams and rolling with it. I so appreciate it. Oh, nice. So Claudia's in Europe. So fire salamanders in Europe. See, that's awesome. So awesome. I am going to wrap up for now. Oh yes, Tamara apparently made a Nature League subreddit because Tamara is just a total rock star. Um, Thank you guys for being a part of the Nature League and for sharing kind of your pieces. I love the fact that there's people in this group of us on a Sunday from so many different fields and so many different places and so many different habitats. All surviving and trying to thrive, right? Thriving, not surviving. Let's aim for thriving, even when things are hard. I hope you guys are doing safe. I hope you're loving some non-live stream Nature League videos. Hopefully soon, just kind of resetting as the semester's done. Mom, I love you. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And everyone, take care of yourselves and each other. And obviously, I will end the stream. I know Chris loves my hand messing it up, but I will obviously end it showing Jane perched on the ottoman. Because duh. And also, Hoopos. I'm going to figure out how to pronounce that. I love it. Cheers, everyone. Babe Jane. Hi. What are you doing? You're just a loaf. You're just loafing. You're just a loaf. Hi. You're such a babe. You're such a babe.